Very warm welcome this great Saturday, February 1st, 2014. Very great welcome to a very special edition of the Cocktail Show. Well, in the mid-90s, there was an outburst of new talent in Ghana, West Africa. And during that period of time, Ghana moved from the governmental radio stations into private radio. And some of us had the opportunity to begin our career, around that period of time. Now, we started up on Joy FM, which absolutely was the first independent private radio station in Ghana. And around those times, one of the talents that really rose to the top is the reason why we're here today, to celebrate a great man who I would say suddenly passed away on January the 18th. Now we all know we are talking about Komla Dumor. I'm short for words, really, because it was really a shocking thing to me. But in the next hour, we will be discussing his life, really, his legacy, his influence, and I'm privileged to be joined here by a colleague broadcaster who is also a legendary broadcaster. Some of the people that we looked up to growing up, Mr. Kofi Chakponu. Welcome to the Matrix Studios.
Thank you very much. It's been a very long time. I've lost contact with the microphone for about 6-7 years. So I don't know the way I'm feeling today.
Well, I mean, it's a pleasure to have you. We also have here Joe Houston. Welcome, sir.
How you doing? B, has been a privilege to be with you today.
And of course, those of you watching across, all over the world, I want to say very big kudos. I mean, thumbs up really to the old Joy group that are doing it big. Thanks to Komla. It's a bittersweet feeling for me, because even though he passed away, he's really shown that he's a symbol of unity. He's brought all of us really back together for, I believe for good causes in the future. But we're here to celebrate Komla Dumor today. Well, I mean, before we get into anything, chaps, where were you when you heard the news?
I was at home as usual on Saturdays. I don't work on Saturdays actually. So I started having calls from everywhere on Tango, on Facebook, everywhere. My phone was sort of jammed for about 6-7 hours. I wasn't having any signal from anywhere. My friends started calling on my other line. They wanted to know what was going on, and it took me by surprise. I really didn't know what to say. I didn't have any explanation whatsoever as to how it happened, and it just took me a step backwards.
Well, Joe, where were you when you heard the news? Really?
Well, it was a mixed feelings for me when I heard. I was at home, just woke up early in the morning, and I had a text from Cox Tamaklo way back in Ghana telling me an incident happened, but he's going to be getting back to me in a bit to tell me exactly what happened. And I saw on Facebook right away, people asking what's going on and stuff like that. So I had to call Ghana and talk to Vaughn. Vaughn, old colleague, Joy. I spoke to Kofi Owusu as well. And they weren't too sure about what, was going on. So, the whole day we were just waiting to get some feedback. But
well, it's funny though, because I had just really come back that morning from church, and the previous night, which was the Friday night, I was discussing, an issue of broadcasting with one of my pastor colleagues, and he was telling me that radio hosts are really getting paid, big money right now in Ghana. What are you doing in the U.S. and stuff? And I remember telling him that, well, everything happens for a good reason. Obviously I came here to learn something different. And then we did make a reference to, Komla Dumor and, how far he had gotten in the field. And I was saying that, well, I'm really, really proud of him, really. So the next morning around, 11 a.m., I had a WhatsApp message from the UK. Is it true that Komla Dumor passed? And then I said, okay, wait a minute. I was just talking about him just a few hours ago. I mean, this is really weird. Because, sometimes you hear a rumor that this person is, passed away. Even me, myself, years ago, that rumor spread all over Ghana that, I had passed away. I'm like, no. So it's difficult for you to really believe it. So I had to confirm that. And then I had another phone call from the UK. And then one from Ghana. And another one. So just like, Mr. Chaps is saying, I mean, my phone was literally jammed. I had tons of email. And I said, wait a minute. So I really had to verify that information. And finally, when I realized that it was true, honestly, it sent chills down my spine, really. I mean, at that age and where, he had gotten to in that field, for that matter, I mean, that was a big blow, really.
Well, it was a big blow to me as well. I've known this young man way back when he had started with Everyday English on GBC Radio. He would come to the studio to do the recording, and then I wouldn't see him again. Sometimes you would only hear the voice on radio. It wasn't a TV issue. It was a radio recording, a 5-minute radio recording that came on every morning. And then he resurfaced on Mobitel Traffic Watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, not to interrupt you guys, if you want to, contribute to this program, or you want to, share some love, some stories about Komla Dumor. I mean, you want to share a tribute or two, you can give us a call here at 718-239-9200. 718-239-9200. If you're watching it worldwide, wherever you are, we're ready for you. Once again, I want to send a big shout out to those of you in the UK representing us, to Vaughn, to Tete, to Fumi, to Clemencia, all of you out there doing it for Komla. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just had to put the phone number out there. Go ahead.
So he resurfaced on Joy's channel, that's for Mobitel Traffic Watch, and the voice was very rich, and the voice made a real difference. So some of us started telling Kwesi Chum, that the CEO of Joy Multimedia, that this young man should be a part of the group, and that there must be a way out to get this guy inducted into the hall, sort of hall at the Joy Hall of Fame. I mean, and Kwesi was one person who listened to a lot of us, most of us, if he came to like bringing in a new talent, if you felt, if you were impressed with someone's performance outside Joy FM, and you told him about the person's performance, he would have a way to encourage you to get the guy in. So that's how we started pulling strings to get this guy into Joy.
I know, right? It was really unique though, because I remember I was doing a lot of shows with Tommy and Unfortunate. Right. And I remember we had we had the opportunity of working on the Drive Time show. At that time, Gabby had traveled out of town, I believe. That was when I really had, one-on-one interaction with Komla, even though I interacted with him during other shows and saw him come in and out to present the traffic watch and stuff. And then there was the issue of somebody reporting outside, and he was in the studio reporting directly from the studio. I'm like, wow, this guy's voice is, wow. He had this booming voice, and I'm like, wow. So we all really, in a way, and at that time, when I say broadcasting in Ghana was at its peak, really. I mean, before we get back into that, how would you compare those days to now?
Well, I can see a big and vast difference between those days and now, because talent like Komla was a unique talent. He wouldn't say what he doesn't know. That was one thing I liked about him. He would make sure he's got his research
details. That's right.
He was too much.
He was very detailed.
So I mean, I'm short of words, but he was a real deal. And way back when I had my daughter, I sent my daughter to a school that he liked that school, and he was telling me about that school and how great that school was. And I came to the U.S. and he called and told me about a movie that he wanted to watch. So when I'm coming back to Ghana, I should try and get him that movie. And when I go back to Ghana, he had already exploded town. I mean, like he was on top of radio. So I know Komla to be somebody that inspires a lot of youth. He would help you to be on top. So we missing such a person is it's a great loss to all of us.
And radio is about getting your facts right. And he got everything right. I wouldn't say he was beyond perfect, but by standards, he was one of the best we ever had. And he made it real. And you listen to him and you want to listen to him the next time around, and you don't want to refuse to listen to him. And that's what radio is all about. He got into television, and it was a surprise to me. I had gotten into New York about 6-7 years back. And then a friend called and said, "Oh, your friend at Joy FM, it's on BBC World Service."
That's right.
And I was like, BBC World Service, most of the Africans that had the opportunity of working on BBC were on the African service.
Absolutely.
Right.
So for him to have crossed into that realm meant that
he broke some grounds.
Yes, he broke some ground.
Well, when we come back, we will be talking about our personal interactions with him, one-on-one. What you really do remember, about Komla Dumor. And I would say that he will surely be missed, really. And we will also be discussing his legacy and what's the way forward in excellence in broadcasting in Africa as a whole. We'll be right back. Welcome back to this great tribute to Komla Dumor. In the studio here, the Matrix studio, with Mr. Kofi Chakbono and Joe Houston, also known as Bolento. We're here, celebrating the life, discussing his legacy, discussing how much impact he has made. We will get into some other aspect of this discussion in our next segment, which will be the final segment, pertaining to the health of broadcasters and certain things that we must pay attention to, and how we can possibly avoid some of these things in the future, and certain things some people have also said, amen, in reference to this issue. But anyway, once again, the number you can call if you want to make a contribution or if you want to pay a tribute to this great man, 1718-239-9200. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
We are still here celebrating his life and also discussing, and also paying tribute to this great broadcaster. I want us to quickly share any personal, things that you actually remember about him.
Well, I remember at one point in time, that was around the time we were trying to get him into Joy FM. I had gone to the campus of Legon, University of Ghana, the Great Hall, and there was supposed to be a Kojo Entry live performance. And then he was in school, actually. So I approached him and told him, and we started talking. And there was one thing about him. Anytime we met, we talked our local language, our ethnic language, ever. And
oh, really? I didn't even know he spoke it.
Yeah. And I told him that there was something about him that was exceptional, and that it would be in his own interest to get into radio. And his voice and his style was what we needed for radio at that point in time, and that it would just be right for him to join Joy FM. And it was like he smiled at it, it took it. He really didn't show any sign that he would want to, but I saw in his eyes that if he had his way, he would be with Joy FM. Yeah, and that was one thing that I liked about him. He respected you, especially those of us in the industry who had been
he really did. Yeah, he absolutely did.
Earlier, he would always come, he would salute you, he would ask you a few things about what you're doing and how well you're getting on. He would even make comments about my presentation, a few things that he had me say. And so I realized that this young man wanted to get into it, and he had his own way of approaching it.
I quite remember his sense of humor, really. He had a very great sense of humor. He always, made fun of somebody,
He's a funny person.
Exactly.
He's
He
a
always
good
used to
person.
tease. He would tease
Like
you.
teasing and stuff
Right.
like
I
that,
remember
you know.
that very, very well.
A lot
And-
on the radio.
That's right. And when somebody teases you, he always repeats it some way, somehow. That's what I really, really do remember about him. And also the fact that everything that he saw, he always asked questions.
Right.
He never really he never overrode
scared,
anybody. No, he always took his time. Oh, so waiting be this. Oh, so waiting be that. One time I remember I was in the studio and then he came in there. I was playing. He loves steel balls.
That's his favorite.
Right. And he came in there, he was like, he said, yeah, man. I remember that was I really do remember him for that. And then he said that, Charlie, you did wrong. Oh man, I'm really, really gonna miss him.
I don't know, but I believe one thing I would never forget about him was when I had come from UK with a business partner, and we wanted to open a company in Ghana. And I went to Joy. I came to the station, and Cox Tamaklo was there with Komla, and I said, okay, I have like 4 names to pick for my company, and I gave him what I wanted to name the company. So I said, okay, I will take Global International. I mean, I quite remember something like that. And he said, why don't you add the X to it, because you're the X-Man. So I made it Globex International.
Oh, okay.
So Komla actually gave the name out with Tayo, with my partner, and they agreed on it. So okay, all right, we'll take it. And ever since, anytime I close from work, Joy was like was my point of I don't know how to say it, but I was at Joy 24/7.
Joy was the hub.
So I don't know. This guy was really a person to reckon with, and we're really gonna miss him. We're really gonna miss him.
I really am. I'm really, really gonna
Really gonna
miss,
miss him,
his vibrant voice. Really.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he came very detailed. He would not shun the truth. He was always telling you the truth about life. When my cousin passed, Haseman, you remember Haseman? Passed, he was there, and I know he did a great job that day. And
But isn't it funny though that you pass away before people really value, what you've done, really?
I know, but yeah, the point is this: people listen, people hear, people see. Like I'll say, I see, and ears listen, and people make their opinions. They form the opinion about you, but maybe they have their own way of doing it. They record everything into their memory, and at the right time, they will come out to tell you the way they feel about you.
Right.
And most of the time, when you pass, that is where you're going to hear negative and positive things about your actions or your performance or your deeds, And the guy was just on top of it. The guy, to have risen to that level within a pretty short time, and to have made an impact, even to the extent of going to North Korea. He was in North Korea when the Kim Jong-un died. Yeah, he was there for the funeral, reporting for BBC. And so you can imagine the level that he had gotten to. And it was no wonder that people who maybe hadn't had him, even seen him on the screen of BBC, among the people making comments, that's what it is.
Right, it's true.
I don't think all the guys, maybe those talking about the late Komla Dumor,
Really
had the
him.
opportunity of even watching him perform,
Let alone meeting him.
on BBC. We are here because we've had the opportunity to interact with him, to be close to him, to be like a family to him. Yeah, and that's what it is. So we all should know that it's a journey, and at the end of it all, people have the comments.
Absolutely.
Both positive and negative.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll chip in this here. I believe that Komla knew exactly that he was loved. I'm very sure about that, because if you look at how he carried himself, everywhere he went, this guy was just, would excel.
Well,
He had some few. I spoke to his friend Dr. Bampo. He's in Switzerland right now. I spoke to him a couple of days ago, and he was a body, and he would tell me that Bolento, this guy is just a unique person, and he doesn't even know where that this guy would not be able to go. Just say it, and he will be there. He had this charisma around him. He had this glory around him that wherever he went, he's been accepted. I was watching the last tribute that the daughter of Nelson Mandela gave the other day, and I broke in tears. I said, "Look at that! This lady just voiced everything out." He said the way that he carries himself with the way he dresses, the tie, the suit, and your boss player already will tell you, "Man, I'm sharp." He does all that. So wherever he goes, I mean, he has his own charisma, and he's been accepted. We are really going to miss this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, in his own way, I really would have called him a presidential material, to be honest with you. Had he lived, pretty much longer, However, things do happen for a reason. It's unexplainable. I mean, it's a shock that he finishes the program on Friday, Saturday he's gone.
In this world, you don't know when the Almighty is going to ask you to go relax, and that's what it is. It could be any time. So, when you have the opportunity of doing what you do best, then you do it to the level that is beyond what people see it. Is beyond. You do it so well. You excel in whatever you do, and it's people who are going to write your testimonial. They are going to testify to your level of performance, your achievements, your whatever you do in your sphere of life. It's not only radio. In whatever you do, you try as much as possible to do it so well. And this young man did it to the level that it was a pride to an African. I mean, not only people from Ghana, but people from the continent, all over the world, liked his style. And I'm very sure they've started missing him because he was on top of focus on Africa. And it was fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. We would be taking a 1 or 2 minute break, and when we do get back, we will be speaking about the future of broadcasting in Ghana and Africa and the world as a whole. Live from the DXNY here, paying tribute to a fallen hero. Would I say a risen hero too? Because even though he fell, he rose, and through his legacy, most of us really, really are getting reconnected. I called him a symbol of unity, someone who has been able to bring some of us back together, not only to celebrate his life, but also to appreciate each other some more. I'm here with Kofi Chakmonu and Joe Houston, just discussing, about his life. In this very last segment, we will be talking about the lessons that we have learned from him as a person and also his passing. So I'm going to first go to Mr. Chakmonu to see what lessons have you learned from this?
Well, a lot. And that anything can happen to you as a human being. You could be the one on top today, and then it can turn out that the news about you will be different the day after. But one very significant thing about being Komla Dumor and experiencing what he experienced and what happened in the end is that whatever you want to do, whatever you are assigned to do, whatever you get yourself into, whatever you have interest in, you do it, and you do it to the best of your ability. And you will have to research, you have to get on top of it, and you'd have to create the impression, let the world know that you've been trained, that it's a calling, that I don't even know what to say, but I think that young man had it all, and well, the whole world is a witness to his level of performance, and what he was able to achieve within the short span of time that he was a broadcaster.
Well, I believe that whatever you're destined to accomplish on earth, you have to strive towards that and do it. My friend, boss player, did really. I would say he achieved his goals because coming from nowhere to be on top of that level, I would say it is not by chance, but it was destined. You know. So whatever you are as a youth, whatever you're doing right now, you have to push in much effort and do it to the best of your ability. I mean, Komla worked like today was his last day. You know, he was always on top of his game. So this to me is a lesson, and I believe that as we go back and forth, we should also consider and look a little bit about our health, our own personal health. We need to take a break, and say, okay, all right, I have done all this. I travel a lot. I do all this a lot. Let me find out how my health is doing. I mean, probably if he had had gone to find out what.
Well, but you see, when you really have passion for something, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. When you have passion for something, to really stop, take a break, can be quite challenging. Notwithstanding, what you're saying is absolutely true. I don't dispute that. However, I don't know to what extent the health issue, comes into play in this circumstance or in this context, for that matter. Because I don't know anything about autopsy report. I'm only basing it on what is out there so far, for that matter, and I don't know what his health, how his health was at the time of his passing. All I can say is that the lesson that I learned from this is that give it all you got. Really, anywhere you find yourself, give it all you got.
Yeah, you made a very good point about whilst you are on top and doing what you do best, you also have to be very particular, or you have to be very conscious of your health, because
absolutely
based on a lot of text messages that he sent to his friends around just a few days before he died. He passed.
I read
He
those,
was stressing on his health,
I think it was like
his
he was a little bit
pressure,
tired,
and he was always talking about his health, how he nearly had stroke.
Yeah, I saw some of those.
So you realize that at one point in time, the demands of his bosses,
right? I mean, like
were
a little bit harsh.
What's so harsh on him? He talked about the fact that people were even undermining him
and envious of him.
Exactly.
Right.
From nowhere to get to that point, BBC.
So you see, in the business of radio, even in Africa, where we come from in Ghana, the people who may not be up to your level, your standard, but they undermine you. Personal issues outside the radio station are brought into the radio station, and they try to worm the way into the hearts of management. So your program, you could be so good. You could be a very good broadcaster, but the program could be yanked from you. They could just tell you tomorrow, or tell you tomorrow you're out. This guy is taking over the show.
Right.
But one thing we'll have to know is that when you were on top, you don't take care of yourself, and you pass. The next day, there is somebody going to be there.
Right, absolutely. I was saying the same thing earlier on today, that you will go and the station will still be there, or the outfit will still be there, literally, and you will be there. But you see, in any case, when you really consider this whole issue, I also think that in the future, and this should be actually the beginning of it, we should pay more attention to. It's actually a wake-up call, and also the issue of being able to create a platform to teach the next generation, excellence in broadcasting. Because I would say that he was simply indelible. I would say that he left a mark that would take a while, for anybody to actually erase. It's not an issue of BBC or CNN or wherever the case might be, but the issue of envy and jealousy always comes with talent. if you're very talented, you always find people who are very jealous of you. But in any case, I mean, I would just share personal experience that I've been able to overcome that by not really focusing or paying attention to the emotional side of things. Other than that, frustration and stress really would get take a big toll on you. I would not really pay attention to it, but it's a lesson worth learning. And moving forward, also we want to. I saw, just to cut in a bit, I saw Summons and Stereo and Jimmy earlier on today on the old Joy Squad. They formed a WhatsApp group. Oh, okay. And really and truly, everybody's on that platform. Right. If you're listening, I encourage you to get on that platform. If you're old Joy Squad, it's all good. And I saw some men, and they were doing something with Keep Fit. And I was telling Gabby that one of my goals is to lose weight this year. I won't be slim though, but I'll do the best I can. And I said I needed a 12-pack, and he was. And he was laughing about it. But anyway, it's a lesson worth learning that we have to really impart more knowledge into the next generation. Really. What are your final thoughts?
Well, my final thought would be for all the journalists we have in Africa, because that's where I came from. I believe that we should look the achievement of a person like Komla Dumor and see how best we can all focus to get on top of our game. It is not easy, but it's doable. We can all do it. So let's all try as much as possible, the best of your ability. Make sure you come clean. See before you say it. Report clean. That's what it is.
Hey, not to cut you off. Sasu, you're telling me I'm killing fire. I'm not a fire killer.
Yo, best of the day to
best of the day to everybody on the old Joy Squad. The number to call, we only have a few minutes left. The number you can call is 718-239-9200. If you want to call in, we have 5 minutes to go. I know we always wait until the last minute. 718-239-9200. We're on here paying tribute. Your final thoughts?
The future of radio. As a matter of fact, journalism in Ghana is very vibrant. A new radio station are springing up left, right, and center, as well as television stations. And if people would want to, broadcasters or journalists would want to raise the level of that institution of journalism to another height, then they would have to do a lot of research, and there must be institutions that would help enhance the knowledge of broadcasters, like workshops and schools.
You have to school.
Yeah, you have to school, and you have to do. The school.
That was Leonard. I mean, to be honest with you,
the school can just shape you up, but you have to do a lot. There are a lot that you have to do to raise your image to another level.
Well,
I would suggest that people should use the late Komla Dumor as a yardstick to rise to the top, because there is this Egyptian saying that when you mention the name of a dead man, then he's alive.
Right.
That's a very powerful statement.
And so I feel that this young man, it's not gone, it's alive, and his name should motivate.
When you mention the name of a dead man, he's alive.
Yes,
that's a very powerful statement. Wow. Well, we're going to wrap up this great tribute here. I want to say a very, very big thank you to the Matrix Studios, to D. I want to say very big thank you to the old Joy Squad, actually, who are doing their thing out there by reconnecting and also paying tribute to the boss player. We're looking forward to greater and bigger and better things in the future. Of course, we see Ghana's future and Africa's future in journalism and broadcasting get to the next level, and of course striving to get to the next level because of this young man and other great broadcasters out there. It's not only about talent, it's not only about education, but it's about the passion for it and working hard towards it. You could be talented, but if you don't work hard towards it, you will not get there. In any case, once again, I want to shout out to everybody else. Shout out to Nyamika B. She was not able to be here today. Next time on this show, we will be discussing one thing, and that is money and the church. So if you're watching in here, this is the Cocktail Show, and we're signing off now. Thanks so much for coming. Oh, yeah, and we want to send a big condolence to the family, to the wife, to the kids. Oh, there's lovely kids.
Yeah,
Kwansama, to and to all the friends out there. We it's a great loss. We've lost somebody, but we've Herbert Mensah, Charles Mensah, Vaughn, Kostamaclo,
Tete, all of them,
Fumi,
the Joy family,
the Joy family, yeah, Malco.
Those still are Joy, and those who are not are Joy. We're still one. We're still one. It feels good to know that we're connected in a way.
And KT, Kwesichu, he's still the vision.
Yeah, you the best.
Much love, y'all.